Hey everyone, this is my first video ever, so please forgive me for any mistakes or whatever that I do here. Happy New Year, everyone! It's January 1st, 2022. 2021 has been pretty crappy. Uh, just given everything, inflation, just ugh, poor leadership. Um, and plus, we finished off with the death of the lovely Betty White. But on a positive note, I finally got this system up and running. I took it out for its first cruise last night, just before midnight, just before the start of the new year. And what this is a video about is a factory correct power steering system for a 1958 Chevrolet. Now, I'm very detail oriented. I tend to like my cars original. As you can see, this is original power steering setup that I pieced together. I pieced together over the course of about 6 months or so. This is in the engine bay of my somewhat original 58 Impala. I'm going to try to get a shot of it here. There it is. Original Sierra Gold paint on the body. I'd say about half the interior is original. It's missing a wheel cover there, but I do have it. It's right over there. I had to take that wheel cover off because I had to pull the wheel off to fix a loose steering arm. That was causing some erratic driving behavior and some clunking. So this is my 58 Impala that I've owned since 2004. I did some improvements over the years. It was loaded with stickers on the body, like down here in the bottom of the front fender and in the windows and stuff. Looked like a real redneck mobile. Had stickers in the back windows and all over the place. Drove like crap. Drives better now. It's now a manual transmission on the column. I adapted later a 66 to 68 Saginaw 3-speed overdrive to the collet mounted shift. So it's a 300 tree, but it's a later full synchro transmission, and it drives nice. And it's also it's a 348 3x2. It's got, quote unquote tri-power. That's a Pontiac term. It's got the correct vacuum operated system, which operates a lot better than the manual progressive system that it came with when I bought it. This is an August 59 dated engine, so I don't know if that would technically be a 59 or a 60 engine. But I tried to make it look as 58 as possible. The air cleaner is actually probably one of the nicest in the world. I bought it like that. It's a little dusty right now. That is original decal on there, or whatever you call that. This is not repainted, by the way. Not repainted. It was grease and grime covered when I bought it, which I guess preserved it. Thank goodness. But I cleaned it up and installed it, and this is probably one of the nicest original air cleaners that I've ever seen. But anyway, back to the power steering. After owning this car since 2004 and driving it, it steered a lot different than my 56 Chevy. It steered harder. My 56 Chevy didn't have power steering, and I was okay with that. It drove nice, but this was just a bear to drive. So I started thinking of installing power steering. It's better to have this on the car, and plus also to showcase it to people, at car shows, rather than have these components sitting around on shelves and junkyards and garage floors or whatever. Put it in the car and let people see what early power steering was all about. So I started collecting parts, and I found a video here on YouTube about a 59 power steering that a channel by the name of Old Car Alley posted a couple years ago, and I came upon that, and that really inspired me to go ahead and pull the trigger and get this unit installed on my car. So after I get every single little component, the hoses, I had trouble finding the hoses because the reproduction hoses, the ends of them looked very I don't know how to say it, like European or not purity correct. So I searched for hoses, and I found these. They're new old reproduction stock, NORS, from that time period. In fact, I have the boxes around here somewhere. They're made by Weatherhead. And that's the boxes that the pressure hose came in. And it looked pretty correct. If you look in the shop manuals and old pictures, you'll see the ends of those hoses are supposed to look like this. I had trouble finding the return hose. I could not find that, but I found it's actually a new reproduction hose, replacement hose, whatever. And I think it's from Auto Parts USA. I can't remember, but there it is down the bottom, the shinier of the two. You can see how much it looks like the pressure hose. The ends look similar, which was a big deal for me because I hate when stuff like this is mismatched. So I pieced this all together. Here is the correct 58 reservoir pump, the pump reservoir can that that was rebuilt. Actually, not by me. I bought this rebuilt already. And I have a couple 58 correct cans here that I'm working on restoring. I have one somewhere that's basically show quality. It's ready to go. So if anybody has a dented, mangled can, I have one here. It has a cap, but the cap is it's cut off at the full mark. I don't know why that is, but the fan belt I bought from Napa, had that in stock. So that's the generator and pump combination. This is the correct generator, and a correct generator will have this code on it. It will have that number right there. 1102115. That is a correct, I believe, 57 to 59 generator for power steering. It will have a shaft that sticks out the back that goes into the power steering pump. So the power steering pump is driven by the generator. Now, go underneath here. Let's show you underneath the car. Everything down here is correct too. You're gonna need a frame bracket for the cylinder, the power steering, the cylinder that actually actuates the steering linkage. So that hydraulic piston gets its fluid from these two hoses here, which are also reproduction, and it's from the same company, that Weatherhead. Again, I wanted the hose ends to match, and that's what they would have looked like originally, or very close to it. Right there. So they come off the control valve, which is up here, which the steering gear via the pitman arm goes into the control valve. And that control valve senses any relative motion between the pitman arm and the steering linkage, the tie rod. Any relative motion between it activates the power steering system and diverts fluid into one of these through one of these hoses into the cylinder to steer the car. And it steers so easy. I finally got the thing up and running. I got it bled last night, just before New Year's. Took it out for a spin. I didn't want to stop driving this car because it steered so nice. And also the power steering system helps track the car to keep it going straight, because not only does the control valve sense your input from the steering wheel, it will sense inputs coming from the wheels themselves. So if you hit, potholes or whatever, bumps in the road, that what would be road shock sent up through the steering wheel is sensed by the control valve here and stopped here. So it will direct hydraulic fluid into the slave cylinder immediately and correct that input. So I drove this car last night, and I couldn't believe I was driving the same car. It tracked straight, was easy to steer, even sitting at a standstill. I was able to take basically one finger and steer the wheels at a standstill from lock to lock. That's how easy this power steering makes it. And this is the factory power steering. This is the factory unit. So I could post a picture, or I'm going to try to post a picture of all the components needed. Every single clip, every single little piece of hardware needed to install a factory power steering unit in your 58. Now this is very similar. This is basically the same. It's the same thing as a 59 power steering unit, except that the reservoir pump can is different. It's slightly different. and I maybe I can post a picture of that too. But anyway, being that this is my first video ever, I'm kind of curious to see how this is going to upload to YouTube and just see how it comes out in the end. But I really wanted to share this because I know a lot of people have questions about the power steering systems, and I hope that when I take this car to cruise night this year, that people will look at this unit, and hopefully I'm there to answer any questions that they have, and I can, now that I've been looking for almost a year for parts, half a year for parts, I have some extra parts at hand. I can direct you to parts. I can answer questions, whatever. Yeah, so I hope you enjoy the video that I made here on a correct 58 Chevy power steering unit. Hope everybody has a happy new year, and talk to you later.